Hey everyone, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk Werewolf by Night. This is an interesting one for me to react to because this isn't a movie, this isn't a series, this is a Marvel special presentation on Disney+. It's one single episode, kind of a Halloween special type thing. I know nothing about the comic that it's based on, other than I think there's werewolves in it. But I did see the trailer, and the trailer has me super intrigued because it's shot very much in this style of like classic monster horror films from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's black and white, classic editing style, so it's going to feel very unmodern in that regard. I don't know whether what we saw on the trailer carries all the way through the entire episode or not, but I'm hoping that it does. But yeah, I don't know what the story is. I'm assuming this is part of the greater MCU, and that because it was part of the big news releases at San Diego Comic-Con and D23, that sort of thing. Are we going to see any characters that we know from Marvel in this show? I don't know. The only one I could think might appear would be somebody like Blade. We know there's a Blade movie in the works. Well, Blade is vampires. This is, as far as I know, just werewolves, but who knows, right? But I'm cool for monster horror. That sounds like a lot of fun. But the biggest reason why I'm psyched for this show is Michael Giacchino. A ton of you may know Michael Giacchino as one of the best composers for film and television around. He's done a ton of things that you'd recognize. He's very well regarded in the industry as one of the very best. I know of assistant directors and cinematographers and writers and stunt coordinators and editors that have gone on to become directors. I'm not sure I've ever heard of a composer becoming a director. But that's what Michael Giacchino has done here. He's the director for Werewolf by Night. So I'm super interested to see what that means. I have no idea what that means. Like, I don't know anything about him as far as what visual style he likes. So much of the composer's job is supporting another creative person's vision, namely the director. So the composer creates music that enhances and supports the story being told on screen. But what story would they tell if they had complete control? I don't know, but I think we're about to find out. So yeah, I don't know what the story is here, but I'm super excited to check out something completely different. If you haven't seen this yet on Disney Plus, check it out and then check out my reaction to it. Could be a lot of fun. So let's see what it's all about. Werewolf by Night. Straight from the 80s. That intro, anyway. Oh, awesome. The audio changes. We go black and white. Oh, I love this. Awesome. Oh man, it's like an old Hammer horror film. I'm in love already. Okay. Avengers.
The known universe. But what of the darkness? This is where monsters dwell, alongside those who hunt and slaughter them with pride. None more prolific than the Bloodstone family. But now, this weapon is in want of a new master, for Ulysses Bloodstone has died.
Okay.
Tonight is his funeral.
Love classic narrator.
A ceremonial hunt which will decide who next will wield the Bloodstone.
Oh.
And woe to the monster who finds itself among them.
I'm going to have so much face blindness in this, I'm not going to recognize certain people. Wow, look at all the monster heads mounted on plaques. Just a giant trophy room. Is that the Bloodstone? doesn't match the drawings. That looks more like a book.
It's a beauty, isn't it?
I can almost smell the blood in your hands.
Thank you. I understand the importance of anonymity in our line of work, but it gets lonely. So, any of these Hackett beasties your handiwork?
No, but him. Him I've fought a few times. He's never looked so alive.
How long can we expect you to stay?
Give me what's mine, I'll leave now.
All these years without training.
Without his training.
We all believed you would surpass your father. You were the greatest disappointment of his life.
Ouch.
Over 100.
Yeah.
So many death dealers in one room. He orchestrated his presence in other ways.
What are we turning the crank on the coffin? What on earth? Okay. Why not? Let's just make it super dramatic.
I do hope my attendance delights you. Very soon, a monster unlike anything you've faced will be released into these sacred grounds. I'll be rotting for you.
Hilarious.
There is only one bloodstone,
There it is.
and it can have only one keeper. The only weapons permitted tonight have been placed throughout the garden for you to find.
So it's basically the Hunger Monster games. The narrator said there's a monster amongst them. Is that literal? In addition to the monster that they're hunting?
It is every hunter for themselves. You shall go first.
Okay.
The others will follow.
Presumably it's a werewolf we're hunting? But they said a monster unlike anything you've ever faced before. And I gotta figure the guy with over 100 kills will be the monster within the group. Right? He could be a werewolf.
Now,
It's a fire tuba! Of course it's got an awesome score. That doesn't surprise me at all. But I don't know whether Giacchino did it himself or whether he got somebody else to do it. Someone he obviously respects a ton. Oh, look at this maze. Look at the playing field. Awesome. It's like the Tatooine backlot. So you gotta find a weapon first. You go in without any weapons. Alright. Old school gramophone. There's going to be a lot of jump starts in this, aren't there?
I suggest we just pass each other by.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, she's got his axe. Is that his axe? How did he get that? Oh, they even got the cigarette burns. That's a big bloody footprint. Whoa. Oh, fun. We're cutting arms off. Ow. No. Nice. Oh, he's not dead yet. My axe. Alright, now he's dead. I love how little dialogue there is. I love how... I have no idea how long this monster maze is going to last, but it could be the entirety of the episode. Whoa! Oh.
What's up? Well, of course I was gonna come find you. Here we go again. You can't keep counting on me to save you. This is the last time. Does it hurt?
So he's got to free the monster.
So we're gonna explode our way out of here. All you have to do is don't die.
Alright. Fun twist. He's friends with the monster.
Door. How's your night going?
Well, it's going.
Came to get the stones. I wanted to be rid of my dad, my stepmother, all of this for good. And now I'm stuck in here with some... Oh, that's tight.
It has to be done right, because if not, it's not gonna work.
Alright.
I have to say I'm having a hard time believing you hunted and killed monsters.
Well, I'm not that type of hunter.
Yeah, well, neither am I. But if you're not a hunter, why do you want the stone?
I don't. If you help me get the monster out of here alive, I can get you the stone.
You're what? The monster's friend?
Mm-hmm. What's the monster? Do you guys know?
But all families have something in common. They follow us.
This guy's got a bit of a young Christoph Waltz thing going on. Every time I say something like that, I'm petrified that it's actually Christoph Waltz or whatever, you know?
Sometimes they're just a pain in the ass that we have to save all the time.
My dad used to tell me stories about my crazy Aunt Frances.
Okay. What's in Francis Brisbane Bloodstone's coffin?
He said that if I missed
Other than a bunch of spiders.
She was positive that she'd come back from the dead at some point, and she knew she'd need...
A weapon.
Well, that's not bad.
Keys.
An exit strategy.
My name is Jack, by the way.
Okay, Jack, you blow the wall, I'll get him to you.
I'm trusting you, okay?
Just get me the stone, we're good. Then you're on your own.
Do we trust that they're being trustful to one another?
Just treat him like an old friend. Call him by his name.
Which is?
Ted.
Ted?
He's called Ted.
Seriously?
Ted.
How do you turn this on? Because I've been trying...
God damn it. Ted! Holy crap, Ted. You're Cthulhu.
Ted? You have a lovely name.
How long is a timer on this damn thing? Yeah, it didn't stick. It didn't stick. Dear God, don't go towards the ticking explosive. Oh God. I didn't know this was going to be a freaking comedy. Yeah. Oh. Ted's free. I'd say he's like Swamp Thing, but Swamp Thing's DC. So what is Ted? Yeah, here comes the betrayal. Whoa! What happened? It's not yours unless you kill the monster?
The Bloodstone did this to you?
He grabbed it, and it threw him back.
A monster. Masquerading as one of our own. I can't wait to find out what breed of evil you are.
Fun. Ah! Fun with focus. Fun with black and white.
No.
I mean, he's got to be a werewolf, right? We haven't had a werewolf yet, and the thing's called Werewolf by Night.
Are you okay?
Until you rip my throat out, I suppose I'm fine. Just stay away from me until you can't.
Because I'm not like that. I'm like this. Any hunting that I do is done by a part of me that is not me. So you got nothing to worry about.
As long as
Because
I'm
I
here.
lock myself in once a month, every full moon.
Okay, he's a werewolf.
And the next full moon is in 5 days.
The Bloodstone's capable of transforming you in 5 seconds. Thanks in advance for making it quick.
What do you do?
What?
I need to remember you.
Oh, familiarize yourself with her scent?
Once.
It's time for you to show yourself.
Color! The lightning crashes on the wall. Classic. And... oh, awesome. Do it in the shadow. Do it with the shadow. I love it. Oh. What a great way to do the reveal. Don't reveal it at all. Oh, ECU! Oh. What? Oh! Oh! It's a more human werewolf than I was expecting, but I kind of dig that. Oh, that was quick. Whoa! Blood on the lens. I love it. You gonna get out in time before lockdown? Nope. Ah, classic techniques. Hide the violence in shadow, blood on the lens, long, slow shots. I love it all. Yikes. Just leave that in there. Did that kill her? That seems a little easy. Okay, it doesn't shock her. Yeah, stepmom's not dead.
Jack, you still in there?
Jeez. There. All right.
Elsa! You let it go! A disgrace to your father's memory! And the hallowed bloodstone name!
Thanks, Dad.
He went that way.
Thank you. The butler's still.
Oh, mistress.
Brilliant, you can start clearing all this shit up.
All right, she's got the bloodstone. Oh. Oh, it still feels like 60s coloration, though. Or that shot did, anyway. Is he playing solitaire? He made coffee.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
Are there subtitles that I'm missing, or are they just doing this all?
No, I'm the one who
Giacchino comes to your rescue. What are you talking about? Whatever, no. Man, I can't think of food right now. Let's do sushi. Yeah, you choose.
Okay. Giacchino. Giacchino did the music too. Makes total sense. Oh, it's Gael Garcia Bernal, of course. See, this is face blindness. Georgia. All right. No post credits or anything like that. Oh, it's fun. I have no idea how it fits into the MCU, other than the picture of the Avengers at the very beginning as we started our narration. No ties as far as I can tell. But you have to assume if Gael Garcia Bernal is Werewolf by Night, is that what he's actually... That's the name of the comic, I know that much. I don't know what his name is beyond Jack. But you have to figure he's going to reappear at some point in something or other. What that might be, I have no idea. But it's a fun way to introduce a new character and a new, completely different feeling part of the MCU. This doesn't feel like... If you didn't know that this was part of the MCU, you'd have no idea. It's shot in black and white. It's an homage to classics, monster movies. I wouldn't say it always felt like a classic movie. Like there were definitely some modern camera moves and that sort of thing in there. Some there were certainly stretches of it where it just felt like it was a modern show desaturated and turned into black and white. But then there were other moments which were clear homages to classic cinema, from the cigarette burns in the top right corner to the extreme ECUs, the lightning flashes on the wall. You're so much more aware of light when you're shooting black and white. It's no longer about color and shape, it's all about light. Where is there light? Where isn't there light? Where's the shadows? These great shots. I'm thinking of the one as the blast door or whatever it was slowly descending in the background, and Jack was fighting all these guys with the electric sticks, and it's just getting darker and darker and darker. And the second guy he attacks, there's a splatter of blood on the lens, and then later on there's a little more blood, and we're seeing less and less because it's getting darker and darker, but the violence is continuing, and we're imagining it more than we're actually showing it on screen. But it's just as effective because we're not cutting, we're not breaking away. And yet it's such a smart filmmaking decision, because back in the day they didn't have a ton of money or time to make these films, so you don't have all day to get a shot like that. You don't have time or money to invest in a ton of like super realistic prosthetics and blood and all the rest of it. But if you can hide all of that stuff in the shadows but still suggest it and hint at it, then it's just as effective for the audience. And it's one of those things that we don't see quite as much of anymore, because you can put anything you want on screen with CG. So you're not necessarily looking for creative ways to tell the story on a limited budget, especially. And I'm not just saying like independent film isn't still a thing. It is, and it's an incredibly interesting, fertile ground for people exploring their craft and all of the rest of it. But we, the public, rarely see the result of it. Even ultra low budget filmmakers can invest a little time into CG to elevate their films if they're so inclined. But I love the throwback to the classic techniques here. I don't know if Elsa's a recurring character. I don't know if Ted's a recurring character. Ted was a fun monster. on first look, he's a little bit Cthulhu-esque, and then when you see him in his entirety, he's more Swamp Thingy. I don't know if there's a name for that creature in the MCU, but it's definitely not Swamp Thing. But man, it was just fun. I don't think there was any deep mystery to it, where we hear that there's a monster within, and then we immediately do the slow reveal of Jack, so we think it's him. We know what kind of monster he's going to be because the show is called Werewolf by Night. Right off the bat, the stepmom is terrible, and she's terrible throughout, so there's no reveal that, oh, it's actually this person's the supervillain or anything like that. It's just good guys, bad guys, survival, monsters, but I like the spin of he's not here to claim the Bloodstone, he's here to free his friend who's an idiot and got caught, and now he's the monster to be hunted. I love that. That's great. I love that there's comedy in this show, like with the explosive in the wall. It's not sticking to the wall. It keeps falling off or bouncing away. I love how long the timer on that damn explosive was. Like, so unrealistically long, it became a joke in and of itself. Just a really entertaining one-off. And I'm hoping something like this is successful, because I would love more stuff like this. You know, obviously Marvel is a source of pretty much infinite stories, but maybe not every story needs to be a 2.5 hour long cinema blockbuster or an 8 to 10 episode series. Maybe there's just like an hour-long short story that we can tell over here or over here, and we can introduce new characters, and maybe they come back right away, or maybe they're just sort of on the back burner for the next 5 years until we find a new story to include them in. But I love that Marvel is expanding its cinematic language. I applaud the exec, and you know, you see all the familiar names that you see as executive producers of every MCU title, whether it's TV or movies, Feige and all the rest. Whoever actually signed off on this, thumbs up, because they could talk themselves into it being a gamble. And you never learn what the viewership numbers on streaming services are accurately, but I hope people talk about this. I hope it generates buzz. I hope people love the idea of the MCU looking completely different for an hour, and that there's room for that. Like, one of the really cool things about comics is not every comic artist draws in the exact same style. There are artists have their own vibe and energy, and it really runs the gamut. And why shouldn't filmmakers be allowed to have a more diverse cinematic palette as well when they're making product like this? I think it's a really cool experiment. I think it's the right way to play around with something new, and I hope we see Jack again. I have no idea in what, but I think it's a really cool way to introduce a character, and I hope Marvel's got plans for him. Maybe we see him in the Blade movie. Maybe he shows up in something a complete non sequitur, but it ends up making sense. Who knows? But there are now, we've basically confirmed that there are monsters in the MCU, not superheroes, and not just superheroes and supervillains, but there are werewolves. We know there are vampires because Blade's coming, but there are other monsters that we don't even necessarily have names for, but they're there, they're out there. And what does that imply? What does that mean for the MCU? Is that something that gets cleaned up by the time we finish up Phase 6 and the multiverse saga, or is this something that will continue as part of what remains as we go beyond the multiverse? Who knows? Because I think a lot of people talk about Phase 6 sort of wrapping up the multiverse saga, and will then sort of condense back down to a quote single timeline again, by cherry picking those elements that we want to keep and letting those other elements that we're willing to let go by the wayside. It's a great way to kind of reboot the universe for a new generation, because by the time we get to the end of Phase 6, it's going to be 2025, 17 years after Iron Man, and that means you can reboot it for a new generation of kids who are just getting into superhero movies for the first time. I think it's a really cool idea. I applaud Marvel for trying stuff like this and just putting it out there and seeing what happens. And I applaud them for letting somebody like Michael Giacchino direct, because I'm not sure he's directed anything else. I'm sure he's done the score. I'm sure he's been the composer for a bunch of stuff on Disney Plus. But really cool for them to give him an opportunity like this. And I think he did a really stellar job, something completely unique and different. And hopefully that's enough to get people talking about it. I'd love to hear what you think of it. Did it speak to you? Is it something that you want to see more of? Is it something that you actually know a lot about? Have you read the comics? Or are you just intrigued like I am? Anyway, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.